Okay, good morning. I'm in the main part of the cabin, and I've been tightening up my my wires. Got them all zip tied and secured. Not too tight, because keep in mind, even though there'll be insulation up there, you don't want your, you want your cables to be able to expand and contract. And then they all go home run into the utility room. So these wires here, these are my 12-volt stuff that I've just got hanging here. Those are actually my awning wires. And I haven't done anything with those yet. And I've been studying this, not studying, but this wire right here, even though it's in the protective coating, I may or may not move that, just so that, the heat issue from the refrigerator doesn't cause any issues. But I don't think it will, but it won't take much to cut the wire and just move it over into the other cavity where the stove is and everything, because there won't be any heat there. But I'll let you know my progress on that if I decide to do that. All right, let's go hook up some breakers in the main, in the utility room. Bye. All right, good morning again. I'm getting ready to connect some breakers. Get ready to put some connections, box connectors in, and I've got the home runs that I've done sorted out for what goes into the sub panel and what's going into the main panel. And I've done all my punch outs, and the other night I showed you on my computer where I have a chart of everything, and so what I did was I wrote down which spaces in the breaker are the correct ones corresponding to the numbers. I've also written on all of the wires Okay. Alright. What did I write on that one? Living room TV. I know this is the I know this says bathroom on it somewhere. There it is. Bathroom right there. And fridge and living room go into the main panel. Those are not critical circuits, because in an off-grid situation or no shore power, I can run the fridge off of propane, and of course we don't need TV in the living room if we're off-grid. We will hook the one up in the bedroom, and what is that one? That's the bathroom. So we don't necessarily need to have that receptacle right there on the wall for the bathroom. So, all right, let me get these things tightened up, and I'll come back and show you the progress. Okay, I've got my TV, bedroom, and microwave circuits installed in the sub panel. This is the sub panel, and I've got my 15 amp breaker for my TV and my 20 amp breakers in for my microwave. That 30 amp right there is for my electric heat. I'm not going to run that wire yet, maybe later today. We'll see how time goes. So the sub panel's all done and ready for the cover to go back on. So let me do that, and then I'm going to start over here. I've got my refrigerator, my TV living room, and my bathroom circuits. So let me get to that, and I'll be back. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not, or if my hands are going to be in the way, but what I'm hooking up now is a 20 amp bathroom receptacle, and it's come through. I've got my wires sized and put in the box, you know, pretty much where I want. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my neutral. Okay. And I'm going to put my neutral right there. Okay. This is my neutral bar. I'm using a big screwdriver because I want to make sure that these connections are good and tight. Remember now, we're going to be bouncing down the highway, and the last thing I want is for one of these connections to come loose and me not know it and turn the power on and I blow a breaker. So just making sure everything's good and tight. Now, some people like to remove their breakers blah 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 before they make their connections. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Okay, me, I can pop that fucker right in there, and because I've only got 2 hands, to me it makes it a lot easier, but I've done it both ways. So, you know, I don't think it really matters that much. Alright. Now, I also am a firm believer in many a thing. There we go. Okay. Woo, that's tight. Now I'm going to follow it up with a nice little turn. And while I'm standing here, let me do one that I did the other day. Now obviously this goes without saying, the power is shut off. So, you know, if you're stupid enough to you know do what I'm doing, you know, with power, then you got issues. Okay. Now I'm gonna put my ground wire in, and I'm gonna take my ground wire, like I've done all the others, and run it behind all my other cables. Okay. Just because that's what I want to do, and it's mine, and I can do pretty much whatever I want. Just makes it look neater, and everything. So what I'm gonna do is find a nice spot on my my ground bar there, and I'm gonna bend it over. Cut the amount that I need, and loosen up a lug, which I think I already did. Yep. And then you slide that fucker right in there. Okay. Must not loosen my lug enough. There we go. Okay. So as soon as you loosen it enough, it'll do exactly what you want it to do. Okay? And again, if one of these ground wires pops out of this ground bar while I'm bopping down the road, it's going to short out some stuff. Okay. So let's see. Try to push everything in. Everything looks good. That's some 12-volt stuff I moved out of the way. Okay. All my breakers are in. See if I can't get this off the wall. Yeehaw. Okay, let me stop and start again. Alright, I'm still looking at myself. Ha ha! There we go. Alright. So, you can see I've labeled everything up here as well. Just makes it easier. And it comes into the box, goes to the appropriate breakers. And like I said earlier, I went to my chart on my computer, which I'll print out, by the way, and will tape to the inside of the box. So breaker number 4, which is right here, is the refrigerator. Breaker number 6 is the living room plug. Breaker number 2 are those outlets right there that I put in yesterday. And number 1, which is here, is my converter, which is that plug right there. This is my 30 amp that comes out and feeds my sub panel. Okay, I got all my breakers are off. Everything's in the off position. Inside my panel here, everything is off. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, I've got everything turned off here. I'm going to take a plug-in device. I usually use my heat gun because that's usually readily available. But I do have some other stuff in the cabin. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plug in my 50 amp cable. Okay. I'm going to unplug my fan. And then I'm going to plug it into there. Now keep in mind, everything's turned off, okay? There's my refrigerator plug. I do not yet have a plug on the microwave, so we don't want to turn that breaker on. Oh, and I thought I had a plug right there, but I don't. Okay, so we're not going to do that one. We'll just test the refrigerator. So we know that our refrigerator is number 4. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to throw number 4. I'm going to toss on the main. want you to note that we have shore power because we're plugged in right there. All right. That's my receptacle for the refrigerator. And when I turn on the vacuum cleaner, it should come on. I don't see any smoke. That's a good sign. Now, originally I was just going to put a single outlet there, which for most refrigerators, that's exactly what you do. However, the only thing that's ever going to be plugged into that for the majority of the time is the refrigerator. Now, let's say I'm outside and I'm wanting to clean, behind the refrigerator, vacuum out any road dust or cobwebs or whatever. And I just want to plug in something real quick like the vacuum cleaner and not unplug the refrigerator. Then I've got another outlet there. So it's not like it's going to be used, all the time. So not too concerned about it. Okay. Here's my Brandy girl. What you doing, girly girl? You ready for some water? Got any water out here? Yeah, you got water. You want to go inside? You want to go see Patriot? You want to go see Apollo? Yeah, you came and told me you want to go inside. All right, baby girl. And I'll be in a little while. Brandy likes to eat, and Brandy likes to sleep, and Brandy likes to hang out with me. But it's a little hot out here today. Okay, well, I think this was a very productive day. We got our home runs that we've done so far are all installed. And let me clean up my mess here and I'll be back. Those Cape Coralians ought to know who that ugly guy is.
I should hope so.
We're here today. We're going to finish running this cable. From there, we're going to run a home run all the way back to the utility room and do a splitter and then bring it over to the other television. So let us get working and we'll show you the end product. There's Mr. Hogan doing his craft. I think Jay asked me the other day, how do I know how to do all this shit? Well, I can do just about anything except put fucking cable ends on cable TV wire. For some reason, it's just...
What do you think? That work for you?
Perfect. He's got all the tools. Feel that stuff back.
Yeah, it always helps to have the right stuff.
Yeah. Plus, you got that industrial grade shit, the good stuff, don't you?
Well,
I mean,
it's the stuff the evil giant Comcast releases to everybody.
yeah, but not the stuff they sell at Home Depot. Maybe, I don't know. Those look like they screw on.
These?
Yeah.
No, they're compression. Waterproof. With the little grommet on it.
Oh, that's nice.
I just use it all the way around because it's good for the signal. Keeps the signal within the fitting.
Oh, that's the
because
same.
there's always a little bit, no matter what, there's always a little bit of signal leakage no matter what. So with this little grommet wrapped around the port, it actually kind of helps seal that signal into the actual fitting itself. It's night and day between the two. You've got your outdoors, which is considered with your rubber grommet on the side, then your indoors, which don't have that. Strictly in and out. Now, what are we do you think I'm mounting this bad boy?
Oh, I'm not gonna mount it right now. I have no idea. That's what I need right there. And then I'll figure out the mount later. Cool.
Some business. Now we just need to
can we put an end on that just so we don't
yeah,
throw that away?
Absolutely.
It looks like the ends on that stock cable are the same as what you're using.
They are. They look that way.
It looks down there.
PPC fittings, yeah. The only difference is in the black.
A little bit thicker, yeah.
When you compress it, these are a little thicker, these are a little thinner.
Huh.
So these are compressed a little tighter. But it's all good.
It's all good. While you're doing that, I'll go get the outlets for the. I'll show you what they look like.
See, it's a smaller black line there.
Okay. You think that's better than the other one? Or?
It's a little tighter. I mean, if you look at the distance between the two.
Why don't you cut that one off and put a good one on? You mind?
Not at all.
Sweet.
Not at all.
Right,
The compression's tighter.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But of course, you know, it's versus the stuff you pick up at Home Depot versus the stuff we get to install the service with.
Right.
I don't know why they do it that way.
Be right back. Go get those. My table of goodies. Brandy. You come outside, Brandy girl? Oh, Brandy girl. Okay, I'll show you what I got.
All right. You got the smart one here.
You can leave it in there. I can't put it in yet, but so what I'm gonna do here is plug this in when I bring the cable over, the HDMI, and then there's my port. So basically, it's just connecting the two.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. If that's your goal. That's what you want to do.
But
But
what
I mean,
else?
you also want to leave an opening spot, like where you're going to put like a VCR or a DVD player or something of that nature.
Hooking up the living room.
Yep, she's flush.
Easy job, easy.
Perfect.
All right, we got cable TV. Okay, my buddy Ryan came in and hooked me up with the cable. It's all ready to go. This right here will there'll be an outlet here that goes outside the trailer, and we'll just screw that right to it, and life will be good. So that's out of the way. And now I'm going to jump from cable TV to my wind turbine. Okay. We all know what a wind turbine is. We've all seen them. There's the solar and wind turbine controller. Just open it up real quick so you can see what's going on inside. Okay. That's where everything happens, right there. Alright. Right down there is your connections. It's got its breakers built into it. It's got the solenoid and the charge controller. It's got a digital readout on the front. Very cool. And this device right here is the Missouri Wind and Solar. What this does is you switch it to run, and now it would be charging the batteries. Free spin, it's not charging, it's just up there spinning at whatever RPMs it can. You don't want to do that for too long. And that's the brake to stop it in case you want to service it or whatever. Okay, now the power comes into here. Alright, this is 3-phase, so you hook your black, your white, your green. Could be red, black, white, green, doesn't matter what it is. And it doesn't matter what order they're in. You just plug all 3 wires into there. Then it converts that. This is called a rectifier. It converts that 3-phase into positive, negative DC. Alright? This unit over here, this blue thing, those are capacitors. Those are, looks like 300 watts each or something. That's what 300W. And I've got 5 of them. My wind turbine can produce a maximum of 1600 watts. I've got to do calculations and figure all of that out, but if I got 1600 watts out of it, that'd be great. But what this is for, you know, the batteries are in the box. This is the charge controller. When the batteries are completely charged 100%, it's not like you can go up there and just take the wind turbine down. The wind turbine is still going to produce energy. If the wind is blowing, it's going to produce energy. So what do you do with all that extra energy? If you don't have the batteries to store it, you got to get rid of it. And that's what those things do. Those capacitors take in the energy that's being produced and dissipates it. Okay? And this charge controller handles all of that. Okay? Now, what I'm going to be doing, this side of my my panel was for all my AC. Through the middle section is my DC. And the next progression would be my DC 12-volt power sources like wind or solar, could be water, hydro. This charge controller will handle the wind and the solar, and I would assume it would do the hydro as well. But we'll talk more about that, you know, later on. What I'm going to do today is go ahead and mount these devices on my wall where I want them, and then I'll begin to wire them in, and then I'll begin to connect my solar panels, which I'll do first, and then I'll work on my wind connection. The wind is going to be done a little bit differently than the solar. The solar panels have cables, a hot and a negative, or a positive and a negative, that'll come down through the roof, through a box, and will go into this charge controller. And just like the dump load, when the solar, you know, you can't turn the sun off, and you don't want to climb up there and cover them up. So when your batteries are full, it's important that the charge controller shuts itself off, meaning stops charging the batteries. So that's what the charge controller does. It takes the power being generated from the solar on the roof, brings it into here, then sends it to the batteries to charge them. Okay, the same thing is true with the wind turbine, except the wind turbine does have a run, a free sprint, and a brake, and you have something you can do with the excess power that's being generated. So I'm going to mount those up here at the top, and I'm going to leave plenty of room around it so that I can put some cooling fans on it and this type of thing. So I'll probably leave like 6 inches left, right, top, and bottom so that I can mount some fans. All right, let me get these mounted and then we'll come back and take a look. Okay, I've got my dump load device is mounted, and I've left room at the left side, the top, the right, and the bottom. And what I'm going to do is probably going to mount a box here framed out with fans that mount from the bottom that essentially are going to blow air across those, okay, and blow it up. And you know, the goal is to try to get it over to the vent, you know, try to let the heat escape, and shouldn't be a problem. If this becomes a heat issue that's too much to bear, well, I got no issues putting a roof vent right above it. I got no problems with that. So, all right, let me get the control box, the charge controller box hung, and then we'll be back. Okay, I've got my solar wind controller mounted. I've got my dump load mounted, and I've got my brake switch mounted, and I've got my rectifier mounted. That space in between there is for my additional 12 volt circuit panels, and for wires and stuff like that. I'm gonna have wires that are coming down from the roof, from the solar panels, probably right there, will drop straight down and will go right into the charge controller. This charge controller is a Coleman Air C440 HVAD unit. That's the model number. And when I plug it in, it's going to give me all the readings that I want for how much power is coming in, how much power is going out, and you know, there's a menu here, you can scroll through them, and that'll be nice to have. And this box is not going anywhere. Neither is that dump load, neither is that rectifier and brake switch. Now, when I get ready to hook all of that up, I of course will videotape every aspect. But there's no hurry to hook it up right now until I get my solar panels mounted on the roof, which will be a project this week sometime, I'm sure. So, okay, our power wall is pretty much done. You see the circuits that I've got run so far. And this is just, it's coming together. It's coming together. Get rid of these screws up here before I drop them. Nice stainless steel screws. Never leave home without them. Okay, I think I'm pretty sure I'm pretty much done for the day. It's Saturday. The wife had to work today, and we're going out to dinner with the in-laws. my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and that'll be fun. And I'm gonna go take a nap. But I should put some of this shit away first. So let me do that, and then I'll come back and say goodbye. Alright, we'll talk to you later. Oh, and by the way, I've been running my fan completely off my battery power. And our batteries are at, I don't know if you can read that, 12.9 volts. So that's pretty cool. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, just a quick hello and a quick goodbye. Of course, again today I didn't get hardly anything done that I wanted to get done. Actually, I got the things done that I wanted to get done and none of the things that needed to be done. And just an FYI, we have an outlet that's live, which happens to be the refrigerator outlet, which is pretty cool. And I've got everything cleaned up as far as construction wise. I'm gonna leave my electric stuff out. I'm gonna tinker a little later and probably mess with that wind stuff, because that's what I want to do. So I want to get my solar panels mounted on the roof this week. I want to plug them in, and I want to start producing energy free of charge. Now people say, you know, solar is free, and it is. Okay, the sun burns and doesn't cost us a thing. However, all of the gadgets that you need to capture that energy aren't free. So you have to take that into account when you're putting together your solar or your alternative energy, whatever you want to call it, system. Now, we're going to be using our solar in the absence of, you know, other sources of energy like shore power. So for us, it's a necessity. Same thing with the wind. It's important that we have wind power on the days when it's cloudy outside. And just a sneak peek. There's old Brandy girl, you know her. She's laying in the shade. Hi, baby. Right here is my wind turbine. Okay. And I think I showed you inside when I was hooking up the rectifier that there's 3 wires. Okay. And it doesn't matter what color you use or anything. So that's a 24-foot tower. So I needed at least a 24-foot well, extension cord, we'll call it, because that's exactly what it is. It's an extension cord, and I guarantee you it is somewhere in this garage. Maybe it's somewhere in the house. There's Apollo hanging out, being a good boy. Oh, there it is, I think. Is it up here? Nope. 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 Boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, ba-dum. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I know it's here. I just have to, you know, put my hands on it. And I'm thinking it's over here somewhere. These are the boxes that I unboxed today. So, I had it the other day because I was looking at it. But anyway, I'll show you. If you can imagine that right there cord, you know, is an extension cord. Of course, that's a 6-gauge wire. So that's not how thick it is. The extension cord is a 10 gauge wire, and it will hook to those 3 wires at the top of the tower, and that extension cord will come down and will connect at the top of that brake switch to those 3 wires. There's a terminal block up there, okay? And then those 3, at 3 phase is converted to DC, and then it'll go into to the controller. Now, I'm not going to have this, you know, have this 100-foot cable just flopping in the wind. So we thought about it when I built the tower. So let's say that right there is the top of the tower. Well, there's a hole right there with a grommet in it, so that the cable can come out at the